Ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, randomly trees, coming at you live via pre-recorded message from the future via the power of the interweb. I am feeling great today. It is June 29th and I am scouting, or hopefully grabbing, a campsite at a campground up here on the northern part of the Olympic Peninsula so that we can get our dogs away from fireworks for the 4th of July. So I've come out early in hopes of grabbing a campsite before the tourists get here. Hopefully y'all can hear me. It is windy and I'm coming past Lake Crescent, which is a beautiful ride and a beautiful lake, and figured this was a good time to film. Hopefully you'll get a couple views here as we come around this windy road. It's one of my favorite parts of this stretch of Highway 101. Look at that lake, gorgeous. I got a bit of a later start than I meant to today. Wanted to get up here a little bit earlier, but such as it is, we will see what we can find. Hopefully we'll find a spot. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm gonna do. There's one campground that I know is pretty remote from, well, what I hope remote from fireworks, so we'll see. One of my dogs is terrified of loud noises like fireworks, and the last few years has been really hell for him in the neighborhood. So there's a lot of folks that celebrate, nothing against that. I think some of them get a little carried away, but the poor dog is on high alert from like the previous 2 weekends. People can't contain themselves and start letting stuff off at all hours of the day, and so we've tried to get him away from it. We were successful for New Year's this year, but haven't gotten him away for 4th of July yet, so hopefully we'll have a winner this time. Anyway, last weekend I was at the Touratech Rally West for 2022 and had an awesome time. Met a bunch of cool folks there, and can't wait to go next year. Took some training, some off-road training, and did that on Friday morning, and man, that wiped me out. Woo! It really, they put some emphasis on working your legs with some of the stand-up drills that we were doing, and kind of unlearning some things that I think are considered to be the norm. They really went against some of that, so that was kind of interesting to me, and at the end of it I felt really confident with my turning and balance capabilities, and at low speed on uneven ground and different terrain, and looking forward to putting that stuff to the test. And I might actually, well, I will actually be looking into that program and the other program there for additional training. I'm hoping I can find a slot where they just offer the training, because you know, they try to cram a whole lot into 3 hours, 4 hours, and it's a lot, and I'm sure I've forgotten some of it already. So it's something I'm going to try to do to keep improving on my riding, is take a training, maybe yearly, maybe every other year, depending on how budget works out and time. But yeah, it was great, and a lot of it was really focused on the big ADV bikes, and I'm in there with my DR650, which isn't a big ADV bike, but it's not a small bike either. There was another DR650 in there, and it was a wide range of bikes in my class, you know, from a big 1250 GS to Africa Twins, and even a Triumph Scrambler, which was cool to see. And yeah, it was the training I took was, I believe it was called Dirt First, and the instructor was really good. He had a couple younger kids, well, kids to me, helping him out, and yeah, I learned a lot. By the end of it, I was really making some sharp turns, and feeling the balance point of the bike, learning how to move side to side and back and forth, and leaning the bike, not leaning myself, and turning my legs. And you know, they really taught you not to, what I've always learned was to kind of hug the tank with your knees, and they want you to be loose and really kind of expand your body. So yeah, it was good. But boy, after that I was beat. My legs were jello. They were really sore the next day, so I didn't get as much riding in at the rally as I wanted to. It was also really hot, so important to stay hydrated. And that first morning out there in the hot sun in that field, wearing your gear and doing all that stuff, boy, I was beat. My buddy Pete was beat, and we elected to just kind of hang out and camp that rest of that day. And you know, we had a cool tarp set up to keep us in the shade, and these little twinkle lights that Pete brought that were kind of like really made us a beacon of hope in the evenings, because people who couldn't find their tents when it got what Pete calls country dark, where it was pitch freaking black. And it was, if you didn't have a landmark at night to go by, you were screwed. We had a couple people who couldn't find their tents, and one girl came around twice and couldn't find her tent. And you know, of course, we had seen her earlier in the day, but I didn't know where her tent was. So anyway, look how beautiful that is. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm glad this guy's going slow, so I don't feel like I have to go fast with this truck behind me. Crescent Lake, everybody, is beautiful. It's a beautiful drive, this nice twisty road, and it's a beautiful ride. I've only ridden it, actually only ridden it 2 or 3 times over the last 8 years, but holy cow, just gorgeous. It was my first time going to anything like that, let alone the Touratech Rally. I've never been to any kind of gathering like that, and man, this was a lot of fun. You know, I had some of my anxiety kick up ahead of time, and had too much time to think about it leading up to it, so I was a little bit nervous. And then Pete and I got on the road and went up over Stevens Pass, which was a beautiful ride. And just as you do on the bike, you just kind of forget your worries and forget your troubles and focus on the ride and the scenery. And by the time I got there, it was just a little bit of nerves, but got checked in, got our tent set up, and met up with our friends, and just, yeah, great time. But also different manufacturers there, like Harley was there with their Pan America, and Ducati, and KTM, Suzuki, not Suzuki, Yamaha, and who else? I'm missing somebody. But I didn't, they had like bikes to test ride. You could go out on the trails or out on the road for about, I think it was about an hour-long rides. I didn't do that. I think I'll do that next year. I was a little bit nervous about that, because having never been to something like that, I really wasn't sure what to expect. So I kind of just, I didn't do that. But next year I definitely will do that. I saw a couple bikes there that I would have liked to have ridden. Triumph was there too, that was it. And some beautiful bikes to test. Oh, this guy's pulling over. Oh, I guess I gotta go faster. Look at that sun coming off of there. So yeah, next year I'm definitely going again. Just had a great time. We stayed up, you know, kind of late a couple nights and had some beers and just shot the shit, and really just laughed our asses off. And it was just great. I met a bunch of folks that you know, follow me on Instagram or YouTube, and that I also follow. You know, exchanged texts and emails with a couple folks, and you know, basically just, you know, so we can find each other and maybe next year or ride together. I met a lot of folks from the Seattle area that I hope to be able to ride with eventually, although my summer is going to be kind of booked up with stuff soon. Look at this road. Beautiful, guys. Just look at that. That water is so blue. And it's not just from the sky, it's like glacier fed or something. And if I would just stop and look down, it would look super blue. Just gorgeous. Look at that. You can see how blue that is. Hopefully that's coming through on the camera. My gosh. And we're out.